afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining Lewis University's television network. Today is Thursday, October 12th, 2023. I'm Allison Lankwitz.
And I'm Samara Martinez.
And we begin with our top national and international stories. Residents of the Gaza Strip are caught in the crossfire of the ongoing tensions between the militant group Hamas and Israeli forces. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby states at least 27 Americans have been killed or taken hostage by Hamas in this border conflict. According to the UN, more than 250,000 people have already been forced out of their homes in Gaza, but there are very few places to flee to. The Gaza Strip is just 41 kilometers long and around 12 kilometers wide. Home to more than 2 million people, it's one of the most densely populated places on Earth. Movement in and out of the Strip is closely controlled by Israel at 2 checkpoints. Right now, those crossings are blocked, leaving just one possible exit route into Egypt. A main communications center in Gaza was destroyed, making it difficult to get internet access or make phone calls. A Palestinian official says the Strip came under attack by warplanes on Tuesday. A senior Israeli official states that talks are underway to allow U.S. citizens and Palestinians to leave Gaza into Egypt.
Utah is suing TikTok over allegations that the company misled the public about its safety. In the lawsuit filed Tuesday, Utah's Attorney General accused the social media giant of violating the state's consumer protection law. The complaint alleges TikTok's of baiting children into unsafe use through its use of alleged addictive features. The lawsuit also accuses TikTok of failing to sufficiently disclose its links to parent company ByteDance, which is based in China. TikTok has yet to respond to a request for comment. The platform has come under fire in recent years that its foreign owners represent a national security threat and that its technology is harmful to young people's mental health.
A Chilean national wanted for the 1973 murder of famed folk singer Victor Jara has been arrested in Florida. According to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Pedro Barrientos was arrested last week during a traffic stop in Deltona. In 2012, a Chilean judge charged him with killing Jara following the military coup that had brought General Augusto Pinochet into power. Court documents show Barrientos had moved to the U.S. in 1990 but overstayed his visa. However, he obtained U.S. citizenship after marrying an American. The citizenship was revoked over the summer after a judge found that he had lied on his application. Barrientos' arrest comes 7 years after a civil jury in Florida found him liable for Jara's death and awarded $28 million in damages to the singer's family.
A hacker is claiming to sell millions of data pieces stolen from the family's genetic website, 23andMe. The data is up for sale on underground forums, and the first batch includes data of those Auschwitz Jewish ancestry in a blog post. The company acknowledged the potential leak, but stated that the company itself has not been breached. Instead, the company says it appears the hacker collected passwords and usernames stolen from other hacked websites and simply tried them on 23andMe. The data includes usernames, regional location, birth years, and profile pictures. The company is investigating the incident and is urging customers to change their passwords and use two-factor authentication. The leak comes as there has been an increase in the number of attacks on Jews in the U.S.
Lydia is no longer a hurricane. The storm made landfall in the Mexican state of Jalisco Tuesday as a Category 4 hurricane, packing winds of 140 miles per hour. But the National Hurricane Center says Lydia has since weakened to a tropical storm. The storm is expected to weaken rapidly as it continues to move through west central Mexico. The Hurricane Center says Lydia is expected to dump 4 to 8 inches of rain across the region and cause rip current conditions along the west coast of Mexico and Baja California. Up next, we will have your local news.
We'll be right back.
Former NFL player Sergio Brown has been taken into custody in connection to the murder of his mother, Myrtle Brown. Last month, the body of 73-year-old Myrtle Brown was found near a creek behind her home in Maywood, Illinois. At that time, Sergio was nowhere to be found and was deemed a missing person by Maywood police. Just days later, Brown was seen posting on social media from Mexico, where he was quickly located by U.S. law enforcement officers, deported, and taken into custody near San Diego. The former New England Patriots player is currently waiting extradition to Maywood, Illinois, and faces first-degree murder charges.
A funeral home in Central Illinois is under investigation, accused of providing the wrong ashes to families. Sangamon County Coroner Jim Alleman recently retrieved 40 sets of ashes from Hines Funeral Home in Carlinville, but he says several are missing standard identification. A medallion with a 4 to 5 digit code providing ashes to the proper family may not be possible without the medallion. Other ashes given to families in the past could be gone too. The coroner says families often ask for their loved one's ashes, but the funeral home would delay. Rebecca Zillian, who says her family received the wrong ashes, decided to drive to the funeral home to pick up the ashes of her father, Patrick Williams. After Zillian made a necklace with the ashes given to her and wore it, Zillian's family called officials last week to confirm whether those ashes were his or not. They were not. The funeral home's owner, Albert Hines, has had his professional license revoked last week by the state government.
Fire crews responded to a large fire at Swartzberg House, an independent senior living facility on the north side, at around 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Officials say the fire originated inside a 6th floor unit where a resident accidentally placed plastic and paper on the stove while cooking. The flames were contained to the unit, but significant water damage occurred on the 6th floor and a few levels below. One Chicago firefighter sustained a minor injury but is expected to recover. Fortunately, no other serious injuries were reported.
A man has been arrested for stalking Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and doing damage to his Chicago home. Illinois State Police say 38-year-old Adam DeBosch was arrested Monday morning. State Police says troopers had responded to Pritzker's home that morning when someone threw rocks, breaking 3 windows. The governor and his wife were home at the time, but no one was injured. Chicago police say they searched the area and located DeBosch, took him into custody without incident. Police say they were also able to identify DeBosch as the same suspect who had left letters at the governor's house on 2 occasions in August. He has been charged with 2 counts of stalking and 1 count of criminal property damage.
Guinness World Records' oldest person to ever jump from a plane, Dorothy Hoffner, has died. The 104-year-old Chicago woman passed away in her sleep at the Brookdale Lakeview Senior Living Community on Monday. On October 1st, Hoffner made a tandem skydive from 13,500 feet above ground at Skydive Chicago in Ottawa, Illinois. Hoffner yelled to a cheering crowd when she landed that age is just a number. A memorial service will be held for Hoffner in November. When we return, we will have our entertainment news.
And later, we'll have your Lewis Spotlight and Sports Update.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a 4th ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Are you ready for it? Taylor Swift's Eras Tour will hit theaters a day early, premiering today in the U.S. and Canada. The superstar singer hit the red carpet Wednesday for the world premiere of the film in Los Angeles. She posed with fans for selfies, which people are likely already seeing on social media. The movie showcases Swift's 6-night concert series in Los Angeles over the summer, giving fans the chance to see her show on the big screen. More than 2,000 Swifties reportedly attended Wednesday's LA premiere.
A startling revelation from Jada Pinkett Smith ahead of the release of her forthcoming memoir, The Red Table Talk. Host says she and husband Will Smith have been living completely separate lives since 2016, but they weren't ready to go public with their separation until now. In a clip from an upcoming NBC News primetime special, Pinkett Smith told KOTB there were a lot of things that led to their breakup. However, she made a promise that there would never be a reason for her and Smith to divorce. The superstar couple isn't legally divorced. They've been married since 1997, and Pinkett's Smith book Worthy releases October 17th.
R&B music artist Drake has announced his plans to take a break from music and focus on his health. The announcement was made Friday, just hours after his new album titled For All the Dogs was released. The artist said during his interview on SiriusXM's Show Table for One that he has had stomach problems for years. Drake didn't specify how long his break would be, but said he could take up to a year or more.
Jonas Brothers singer Joe Jonas and actress Sophie Turner have came to an interim custody agreement involving their two daughters. According to a joint statement from the two on Tuesday, their children will now live their time between the U.S. and the U.K. This comes after the Jonas filed for divorce in September. The Game of Thrones stars then sued Joe Jonas, accusing him of wrongfully keeping their children in New York City and seeking they will be returned to London. The former couple said they look forward to being great co-parents.
The culinary world is mourning the death of celebrity chef Michael Chiarello. According to a statement from his company, Chiarello died Saturday while being treated for an acute allergic reaction that had led to anaphylactic shock. He was known for his time hosting the Food Network series Easy Entertaining with Michael Chiarello for 10 seasons, beginning in 2003. He also appeared on other cooking series, including Top Chef and Iron Chef America. In a statement, his family says they will remember Chiarello for his passion to, quote, savor life's flavors. Chiarello was 61 years old. Up next, we will have your Lewis Spotlight.
And then we will have your Lewis Sports Update. Stay with us. So for today's Lewis Spotlight, in honor of National Hispanic Month, will be Elizabeth Roman, president of National Catholic Council for Spanish Ministry, who has recently gone to Rome with 18 members, including 2 Lasallian brothers. So welcome, Elizabeth, to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
And so how was your trip to Rome? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It was incredible. It was the first time that we had taken a delegation of 18 lay leaders, people who work in the church in Hispanic ministry, to do this. It was to participate in the Cardinals Consistory, where our apostolic nuncio, the Pope's representative to the Pope's representative to the U.S., was being made cardinal.
Okay, so that was like a really big thing. And now, so the purpose of the trip was there a main purpose to go out to the trip?
Yes, there was actually various. One was to accompany our apostolic nuncio as he was being elevated to cardinal. Another one was to visit with Vatican offices to discuss with them Hispanic ministry and issues of migrants. And we also participated in the opening mass of the Synod, which is this dialogue, this global dialogue that the Pope has convened the Catholic Church into.
Okay. And now who was all involved in this trip? So I know it was 18 members with two Lasallian brothers that are from, Lewis. So can you give us a little bit about that?
So we invited two brothers who live in Rome to accompany us. We had gotten passes to these events and we wanted them to join us. And we also had national organizations, including the National Network for Young Adult Ministry for Hispanics, the National Catholic Partnership on Disabilities, the National Association of Hispanic Deacons. We had Gamaliel Network, which is a community organizing. And so it was a really interesting group of people who serve in the church.
Okay. And now, how did you feel about being, part of the official ceremony at Basilica, at St. Peter Basilica?
It was such a great blessing because, for one, we weren't expecting to do it. It was totally unplanned. When we heard that our nuncio, the Pope's ambassador to the U.S., was being made cardinal, we said, we've got to be there. We've got to support him because he's been very supportive of Latino ministry for the last 3 years. And so we thought, we didn't have a place to stay, to be honest with you. We didn't have money to go. You know how Latinos do it. We figure it out.
You find a way.
So we weren't even invited. We showed up. The nuncio said, come. And this is the first time, to be honest with you, that Latino lay leaders go to Rome to do this type of event without being invited by our bishops. We usually have to have a letter from the bishops. And so we showed up and kind of broke all kinds of barriers because, Latinos, if we're not invited, we're still going to show up.
We're still going to show up and do what we can. I mean, it's part of how we are and who we are.
It was history making to the point that we visited some religious congregations and they asked us to do this every 2 years, but to bring young people to the seats of power of the Catholic Church. So it was very enriching for all of us, but I think it's opening up doors for us to do this again with young people, with young Latinos.
Oh yes, that sounds just phenomenal. That's so great, and that's very true. And especially that you guys were able to take advantage of it, to be able to go and as you said, us Latinos, that's what we do. We just kind of make our mark. So that's so I take it you loved Rome.
I do. I love it. It's like walking in this huge museum. Everywhere you go, I have no sense of direction. I get lost all the time. But getting lost in Rome is kind of cool because everything you see is just amazing. It's such a Catholic city.
Okay.
There are icons of Catholic Mary and Jesus everywhere. So when you go there, you really feel very Catholic. We took also advantage of it to go to the Lasallian Mother House. So we visited with the Superior General of the Christian Brothers, the Lasallians, and that opened up other opportunities and doors for us to continue to bring young people.
Okay. And then about the migrants that they're doing, what are they doing about the migrants here in Chicago?
So, as you know, we've already received about 15,000 migrants in the city of Chicago. Most of them are sleeping outdoors. I guess about 1,000 of them have found homes with the help of Catholic charities. One of the things that the church and some leaders of the church have been calling on for the Archdiocese is to open up closed parishes. They've closed over 100 parishes, to open them up to these migrants so that they can have at least a place to live until they find stable housing. We're a church. We have to welcome the poor and the migrants. That's what we're called to do. So we're working with the city of Chicago, with politicians, with the representatives from the different wards to help house and provide opportunities and food and education to the migrants that are coming.
And is it going well? You know, I know it's obviously a lot of work that you have to deal like political wise, and then you have to deal with the city of Chicago and just, you know, it's 15,000 people who are coming in. So do you feel like you guys are making progress with all of that?
Honestly, I feel frustrated at times. It's just overwhelming. I feel that we don't have the resources. We don't have I wish we had the houses to put people in, especially children and moms and families. But we're trying. We're talking and working with the diocese and with the mayor's office to see what we can do. But sometimes it is frustrating because the need is so great, and you know, resources are limited.
And you have to, you know, and it sucks because you have to work with what you have, and it's not enough, and then there's so many people. But it's like people like you that you're passionate about it, you work for it, like that's really great in this world. And so like lastly, just kind of want to wrap up back to Rome a little bit. Like, was there anything else that you guys did in Rome that was not necessarily planned?
Well, in addition to visiting amazing churches, because the Rome churches are filled with just amazing artwork that just connects you back to a time where people looked at the gospel on walls and paintings by Michelangelo, and it's just incredible. But one of the most important things that we did that helped lift our leadership was to visit Vatican offices. We visited the Office of Human Integration. We visited the Office of Family, Life, and Laity. We visited Vatican Media. We sat down with them. Yes, and we visited Vatican secretaries that work with Latin America. It was a dialogue to connect first, our ministries from the U.S. with them, what we do as Latinos, the needs of the church, the needs of young people, and then to connect with the reality of Latin America and what brings people here, the migrant reality. Because if we connect to the need as Catholics, as people of God, then maybe we can help more those migrants before they get here. So we're connecting, hopefully, the church in North America with the church in South America to help this issue of migrants. And those were surprises that came out of the journey. And one special interview, which I want to share with you quickly, was with the Superior General of the Scalabrinians. They're a religious order of priests, and they have missions on the border. They had a young woman, 20 years old, who was writing a blog about the migrant issue and what's happening at the border. Well, they killed her, and they threw her laptop on her lap to make a point to keep them quiet, to keep young people like you quiet. And so there are a lot of issues, a lot of violence, a lot of needs that we connected with in this journey, and that we hope to continue connecting with so we can help.
Yeah, because it's an issue that needs to be addressed and needs to be worked on. So that's really great. I'm glad you enjoyed Rome and you love it. Being
awesome.
Lost in Rome has to be phenomenal. I would love to experience that one day.
It's amazing.
But that's just your position and what you stand for, it's phenomenal. And you know, we need more people like that in here in the world. But we appreciate you so much for coming on and being my spotlight for this day.
It was a blessing. Thank you. So when we go back to Rome, we'll invite you. So
I
you
would
can
love to
cover
go.
it with us. That would be great. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
The Lewis University's men's soccer team was ranked 7th in this week's United Soccer Coaches Association NCAA Division II Midwest Regional Poll. The Flyers' record so far this season is 5 wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties. The Flyers are trailing the University of Wisconsin Parkside with their record of 6 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Head out and watch the men's soccer team as they continue their GLVC play, hosting Maryville this Friday the 13th at 7:30 p.m.
Lewis women's volleyball wrapped up their 3rd weekend of GLVC conference play, finishing with 1 win and 1 loss. The Flyers earned their 5th straight win against the McKendree Bearcats on Friday before picking up their first loss of the season against 4th-ranked University of Missouri St. Louis on Saturday. Outside hitter Megan Schlechte and right side Juliana Van Loo led the Flyers with over 30 kills each across the weekend. The team will play their next match this Friday, October 13th, against Grand Valley at the GMAC crossover.
The Lewis women's cross-country team finished 3rd at the Lewis Crossover Invitational this past Saturday. Guiding the Flyers was junior Hannah Schmurak, finishing the 6K race with a time of 21 minutes and 30 seconds, right after Carolyn Pacer Ryan crossed the finish line with a time of 21 minutes and 46 seconds. Senior Abby Kozak finished with a time of 21 minutes 47 seconds. Lastly, Anna Kozak finished with a time of 22 minutes and 1 second. Sophomores Madeline Calloway and Kate Guderhan finished with the times of 22 minutes and 24 seconds and 22 minutes and 26 seconds. The Flyers finished with 131 points, placing them 3rd.
The Flyers took down the University of Indianapolis Greyhounds by a score of 1-0 in a women's soccer rivalry matchup this past Sunday. Scoring for the Flyers was sophomore Mariana Pinto, getting the team on the board early in just the 17th minute of the match. Defensively, the Flyers also outplayed the Hounds with outstanding efforts made by senior goalkeeper Becca Nielsen, who earned the GLVC Defensive Player of the Week for her performances given on Friday and Sunday. The Flyers will be back at home this weekend, taking on both Maryville and Missouri S&T.
Lewis men's cross-country senior Charlie Worth was named GLVC Cross-Country Runner of the Week this week. Worth finished in 17th place in the 8K with a time of 24 minutes and 28 seconds in the Lewis crossover this past Saturday. The team will race again on Saturday, October 21st at the Great Lakes Valley Conference Championships in Boulevard, Missouri.
That's it for today's news. Thank you for watching. As a reminder, you can always keep up with Lewis University's television network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and by visiting our YouTube channel. I'm Allison Lankowitz.
And I'm Samara Martinez. Have a great night.